This historic airfield at Woodford has been attracting airshow crowds in their tens of thousands ever since 1925. Each summer for the last 30 years the site has played host to the Royal Air Forces Association, who put on their spectacular air displays for the public. We can take a look back now over some of the highlights of those 30 years of RAFA air displays at Woodford. The first show took place on the 29th of June 1968, a lovely summer's day. The display opened with the inimitable Red Arrows, who in those days flew their immaculate routines in tiny Gnat trainer aircraft. The show included veteran aircraft. This is a de Havilland Cirrus Moth of 1925. And helicopters. This is a Westland Whirlwind from the search and rescue flight at RAF Valley in Anglesey. There was a flypast by this massive Belfast transport of the RAF. And this demonstration of the military version of the HS 748 transport, which flew on one engine as well as two. A very popular item was this mighty Avro Vulcan bomber, then in front-line service with the RAF in the Cold War. On June the 25th, 1971, the show organisers pulled off their biggest coup. They persuaded British Aerospace to fly the Concorde prototype 002 from Fairford to display at Woodford. The enormous crowd who turned up to see Concorde also witnessed their first demonstration of the then new Harrier vertical takeoff fighter bomber. The glorious summer of 1976, and a record crowd thronged the parched grass of Woodford for the big day. As usual, there was a full turnout by the Battle of Britain memorial flight. The 1977 show took place on a day which was dull, cold and at times wet. This didn't discourage the faithful from flocking to a show which included this impressive takeoff of a Handley Page Victor, newly converted from bomber to tanker. We jump now to 1991, and this final display before retirement of the ubiquitous Shackleton maritime aircraft, once rudely described as a million spare parts flying in close formation. Later we saw the supreme skill of the test pilot as this Vanguard airliner flew a considerable distance with just its nose wheel in contact with the runway. The 1992 event was to be a special Silver Jubilee display to celebrate 25 years of RAFA air shows at Woodford. The day was marred by tragedy, however, and this Spitfire, owned by Rolls-Royce, inexplicably went into a loop at too low a level.
Stay behind the crowd line.
The pilot was killed. An interval of 2 hours followed, but the show did eventually resume with a spectacular display by two Russian test pilots flying Sukhoi Su-37s. Displays in the early 90s were dominated by this airshow favourite, Vulcan XH-558, the last of the V-bombers to fly, which unfortunately has since been grounded. We may never see this majestic warbird flying again, so let's linger a moment as she goes through her dramatic paces. Torrential rain almost washed out the 1997 event, but an unexpected performer was this American Northrop B-1B strategic bomber. This four-engined afterburning giant has swing wings and twice the speed of sound performance. Through rain and shine and even tragedy, the show has always gone on. Who can say what aeronautical marvels will thrill the crowds here at Woodford in the next 30 years?